Can the criteria be for the autism diagnosis criteria change from childhood to adulthood? That's a question I asked my therapist, and they specialize in autism. The reason that I raised this was it had occurred to me that when looking at the B criterion, you have to meet two of the four. And I definitely meet the sensory sensitivity one as a child and in adulthood. And as an adult, I definitely have the really deep engaged interest aspect. Also have some of the other ones like stimming and a little bit of repetition, but I had more routine and rigidity as a child. I literally had the exact same school lunch packed for me every day for like almost my whole childhood. I also would go through long phases of being completely obsessed with a movie and watching that movie daily or very near daily for years. I'm not that into repetition now. I eat less variety of food than like a typical person, but I'm not eating the same thing every single day. Certainly not for years. But I definitely have the special interest aspect as an adult, and I can't really think of much that would have qualified as a special interest as a child. And they said that their view on this is basically trauma. They've been my therapist for a few years, so they're well versed in the fact that I had like multiple types of chronic traumas occurring as a child, living with a person or people who I perceived as very emotionally unpredictable and emotionally volatile and found their emotions scary. And so I lived in like constant hypervigilance, trying to predict when they might go off and trying to do what tiny bits and pieces of things I could to reduce the odds of that happening. When a kid spends their childhood hypervigilant, my therapist was saying that doesn't really give that kid as much space as they really should have to explore themselves and to focus on themselves and what interests them and to just like really flesh out and develop their personality. They kind of said that while me like watching Matilda every day for like 5 years or something, probably not 5 years, but like probably 3 years, something that doesn't take much emotional energy. Whereas finding a book or jumping on the computer to research a new topic, it takes a different type of energy, especially when they are in an environment that is not really allowing them to be their best self emotionally. And so then is it possible that for some autistic kids, they would have a deep interest in really geeking out on one particular topic, but that their emotional energy and or other resources are limited to where you might not really see the fact that they have really intense and deep interests because they just aren't able to explore them despite their wiring being set up to where they have that inclination. That was kind of our conclusion. The reason it feels like I have developed such deep special interest in adulthood was because I found a healthier place for myself that let me focus more on myself and kind of gave me the freedom to geek out on things that I didn't have the space or energy or support to do as a kid.